Hi, it's Norman Kochannek here. I'm in Adelaide for the Adelaide Oval Test that has just taken place, and I decided to go through the history of Donald Bradman in a special way. Now obviously we went to his place in Kochannek where he was born in 1908, then his period of time in 1911 where he lived at 52 Shepherd Street from the age of 3 to 16, then moved on to 20 Glebe Street in Bowral until the age of 20 before he moved to Sydney. Now, that period of time, his career started as an Australian Test cricketer. He then moved through his life, but he was actually brought to Adelaide by a stockbroking firm called Harry Hodgetts and Co. Stockbrokers, as well as the South Australian Cricket Board and Association brought him here as well, lured him here to play his cricket. So from the year of 1934, Sir Donald Bradman and his wife Jessie came to Adelaide and lived in Adelaide. Where I'm standing right now is of great significance. This is actually the house where he spent some 65 years of his life at 2 Holden Street in Kensington Park in Adelaide. This house has great significance in terms of the life of Donald Bradman in his career. He was still playing Test cricket at the time he moved here. He was married when he was at some age of 23. He moved here at 26. So from the age of 26 to 40, he still had a substantial amount of his Test career to undertake, and he did that in Adelaide as a stockbroker, as a local cricket player, and amongst other things, he was a legend in a number of sports. In fact, he also was a legendary tennis player. He played at a very high level of tennis. He also played squash in state tournaments. He was a champion at table tennis. He was a billiards champion. He played a very high level of golf. He also did other amazing things, like he was a pianist, very musically gifted. The man had a number of facets to his bow. In fact, I think anything he would have touched, it would have turned to gold. But obviously his main claim to fame is of course about his cricket, where he both captained Australia and played for Australia at the highest level, and ultimately is the legend that he is. So this home behind me at Kensington Park, 2 Holden Street, is of great significance. In fact, no one's living here at the moment at all. His son John is further up the street, and his granddaughter Gretel on occasions actually spends time here, but it's upkeep is provided. It's a magnificent house of great history. So he and Jessie lived here for some 65 years until his passing in 2001 at the age of 92. I actually also have a local historian here, Tony Rose, who I'll bring into shot now. Come in, Tony.
Hey, welcome, Norman. Thanks, mate.
It's great to be able to have a man of your stature here who knows so much about Bradman's history. Tell me a bit about some of the tidbits that we have behind this house.
Well, it's a bit of a classic, Georgian house. Really pretty. Built in, it was designed for Bradman by an architectural firm called Philip Claridge, who was responsible for Adelaide Oval, the maintenance area around that. So his firm was commissioned, if you like, to design the house, and you can see it's a neo-Georgian place, and he constructed it. And as you said, Bradman ended up living here for 65 years. It is heritage listed. It got heritage listed by the local council in 2004. There was a push there earlier, far earlier than that, to get the thing listed. And as you appreciate, Sir Donald was quite a private man, and he resisted quite strongly to have it listed. And so after his death in 2004, subsequently he's been heritage listed by the local council. And probably maybe against what he wished when he was alive, but the historical significance and the stature of the man, I think, means that there's a sense of inevitability about it.
Amazing. It's very interesting. Great insight into the house of Don Bradman. As I said, John Bradman, the son, lives further down the road. Gretel often stays here now. You'll see that there's no name plaque here on the wall, which is quite unusual, my thoughts. I mean, obviously he didn't want to be heritage listed, and by way of this, I'm sure that you would agree that that was something they decided not to do.
Correct. It takes on a certain irony there in Adelaide when you land in the airport, you proceed out, come into the town, you turn onto Sir Donald Bradman Drive.
Amazing.
And so you can only wonder what he would think of it now, but just the power and the stature of the man, I think, means that some of these things need to bow and bend a bit, don't they? And
that's true.
And it goes towards the local heritage and the history of the area, of the state, of the city, and of course of the country as well.
Amazing. Can you imagine, it's now some 19 years almost to the day he died, And in fact, we're standing out front of the house and just have this imagination that Sir Don would walk out of here perhaps drive out of here on his way to a ground as a player, as an administrator, as a selector, and as basically a legend as he is. And imagine his wife, who passed away in 1997, also lived here with him. Again, the formative years were certainly in Barrel, from the age of 3 to 16, the tank stand at 52 Shepherd Street, the closeness to Bradman Oval, and of course the house at 20 Glebe, his time in the St George area in Sydney where he played cricket and ultimately played for Australia. But he did live here for 65 of those years of his life, a substantial amount of time. And you can just imagine here on the driveway, as you can see behind Tony and I, that house has not changed. Son takes care of the road. Quite an amazing feeling to be here. It sends a tingle up my spine to be in such a historic place. So this is Norman Kochannek. Please join us. Thank you very much, Tony, for your presence here today.
Thank you.
And Tony has certainly been a great help. He's informed me about a lot of aspects of this area that I did not know myself. So stay tuned, view, like and share our posts. You'll see plenty more of this. Subscribe and not forget also to provide feedback on what you would like to see.